For a few seconds, the future of two young singers from Oʻahu seemed uncertain. Then Simon Cowell stopped the performance, and gave Bruno Mars' Nephews one more chance to prove they belonged on the biggest stage of their young careers. Nyjah Music and Zyah Rhythm, two teenage brothers from Hawaii, have now advanced to the live shows of America's Got Talent Season 21 after surviving one of the most revealing moments of their competition journey. Their path to the live stage has already included an original song, for unanimous yes votes, a surprise family connection to one of the world's biggest pop stars, and a callback performance that was interrupted by Cowell himself. What happened next may be the part that matters most. The brothers did not walk away. They reset, listened, and returned to the performance with greater confidence. Their comeback ultimately helped secure their place in the live shows. And behind all of it is a family connection that has made their AGT story impossible for audiences to ignore. Their uncle is Grammy-winning superstar Bruno Mars. Nyjah Music, 16, and Zyah Rhythm, 15, come from Oʻahu's North Shore. Their mother, Tahiti Hernandez Kemper, is a former vocalist with the Lilas and the sister of Bruno Mars. Their father is professional surfer Billy Kemper. But when the brothers first appeared on the AGT stage, they did not lead with their famous family connection. They led with their music. That decision became one of the most compelling details of their story. During their original audition, the brothers performed Heartbeat, a song that introduced viewers to their voices and their chemistry without relying on the celebrity name in their family. According to reporting from Hawaii Public Radio, the brothers have been singing since childhood, with their grandmother playing an important role in their early musical development. Nyjah recalled that they began singing karaoke with their family, particularly their grandmother, who taught them much about music. That background helps explain why their performances often feel less like a manufactured television act and more like two brothers who have spent years making music together. Their first AGT performance earned 4 yes votes from the judges. Howie Mandel was particularly enthusiastic about what he heard. "I have to say your voice reminded me a little bit of Grace VanderWaal," Mandel told the brothers, according to published coverage of the audition. He went on to say that he believed they would be memorable and that he thought they were stars. That was already a major moment for two teenagers entering one of the most competitive talent shows on American television. But the bigger surprise was still waiting for the audience. The brothers are the nephews of Bruno Mars, one of the most recognizable performers in contemporary pop music. That connection adds another layer to their story, but it also raises an uncomfortable question that follows many young performers with famous relatives: are they succeeding because of the family name, or because they have developed something of their own? So far, Nyjah and Zyah have tried to answer that question the only way musicians can, by performing. Their musical history also includes a connection to their uncle's professional world. Their cover of Elvis Presley's "Burning Love" appeared on the soundtrack for Disney's 2025 live-action Lilo and Stitch, further connecting the young brothers to the entertainment industry surrounding Bruno Mars. But AGT presented a different challenge. A soundtrack appearance is one thing. Standing in front of Simon Cowell, Howie Mandel, Sofia Vergara and Mel B is another. The audition established the brothers as promising young vocalists. The Judges Callbacks tested whether they could become stage performers. That distinction became painfully clear when they returned with Justin Bieber's Daisies. Instead of performing another original song, Nyjah and Zyah were asked to interpret a contemporary pop track that audiences already knew. The challenge was no longer simply to demonstrate that they could sing. They had to show personality, confidence and command of the stage. Then Simon Cowell stopped them. The moment was captured by AGT and quickly became one of the defining scenes of their journey. Cowell interrupted the performance and challenged the brothers to take greater ownership of the stage. Hawaii News Now independently reported that Cowell stopped the Oʻahu brothers in the middle of their performance of Daisies. For any performer, especially one in their mid-teens, being stopped in front of millions of television viewers could be devastating. For Nyjah and Zyah, it became an opportunity. The brothers were given another chance to continue. This time, they had to perform while carrying the knowledge that one of the most influential judges in the competition believed they needed to give more. That is where the story changes. The interruption was not simply about whether they knew the lyrics or could hit the notes. It was about whether they could respond to criticism in real time. And that is precisely what makes their comeback important. Their second attempt had greater urgency. The brothers pushed themselves to be more present on stage and demonstrated the kind of adjustment Cowell had demanded. AGT's own social media coverage described the brothers as shining under pressure and earning their spot in the live shows. That outcome transformed the interruption from a potential failure into a defining moment. It also created a storyline that goes far beyond the celebrity connection. The Bruno Mars connection may be what gets people to click on the story. But the Simon Cowell confrontation is what gives the story emotional weight. The brothers had something to lose. They had already impressed the judges once. They had already received 4 yes votes. They had already attracted attention because of their family background. But at the callbacks, none of that could physically carry them through the performance. They had to respond. And they did. For Bruno Mars, whose own career was built around combining musicianship, showmanship and an instinctive understanding of the stage, watching his nephews develop those skills in front of a national audience creates an obvious family narrative. But it is important not to confuse family support with proof of a guaranteed career. AGT is designed to test performers under pressure, and the brothers are now facing the most demanding part of the competition. The live shows change the equation. During auditions and callbacks, contestants are primarily being evaluated by the judges. Once the competition moves into the live stage, the audience becomes a critical part of the outcome. Every performance has to make an immediate connection, and every mistake becomes harder to hide. For Nyjah and Zyah, that means the qualities that helped them reach this point will now face a much bigger test. Their vocal blend must remain strong. Their stage presence must continue to grow. And their ability to make a song feel like their own will become increasingly important. The judges have already shown them what they want. Cowell's interruption provided perhaps the clearest instruction they could receive: stop simply performing the song and start owning the stage. That is a lesson many professional singers spend years learning. The brothers now have the opportunity to apply it under the brightest lights of the competition. Their story also reflects something larger happening around young Hawaiian musicians. According to Hawaii Public Radio, Nyjah and Zyah draw inspiration from the beaches and lifestyle of Hawaii, and those influences are reflected in their music. Their rise has already brought new followers, opportunities and attention from people in the music industry. That regional identity could become one of their greatest strengths. America has seen countless young singers arrive on talent shows with impressive voices. What makes an act memorable is often the identity behind those voices. Nyjah and Zyah have an obvious one. They are brothers from Oʻahu. They grew up singing together. They have Hawaiian roots. They have a famous uncle. And now they have survived a moment that could easily have ended their AGT journey. That combination makes their story unusually easy for audiences to follow. There is also a fascinating contrast between their 2 major AGT performances. Heartbeat was about introduction. Daisies was about adaptation. The first performance allowed the brothers to present their own musical world. The second forced them to step outside it and prove they could respond to an established song, direct criticism and the pressure of a competition environment. In that sense, the Simon Cowell interruption may have been exactly what they needed. Had they delivered a flawless performance without interruption, viewers might have remembered the vocals. Instead, they now have a story. The music stopped. Simon spoke. The brothers had to decide what to do next. And they kept going. That kind of television moment can stay with an audience far longer than a technically perfect performance. It is also why the phrase, Bruno Mars Nephews, should not be the only lens through which audiences view them. The family connection is undeniably significant. It explains part of the public interest and gives the brothers an extraordinary musical lineage. But the AGT competition is ultimately asking a simpler question: can Nyjah Music and Zyah Rhythm connect with America on their own? So far, the answer has been strong enough to move them forward. Their 4 yes votes proved that the judges saw potential. Their comeback demonstrated resilience. And their selection for the live shows confirms that the judges believe there is more to discover. Now the pressure becomes even greater. Every new performance will be compared with what came before. Viewers will remember the original Heartbeat audition. They will remember the moment Cowell stopped Daisies. And they will remember that the brothers were given another opportunity, and used it. That creates expectations. It also creates opportunity. If they can turn the stage confidence Cowell demanded into a consistent part of their performances, they could enter the live shows as a very different act from the one that first walked onto the AGT stage. And that transformation may ultimately become the real story. Not that they are related to Bruno Mars. Not that they have famous family connections. Not even that Simon Cowell stopped their performance. The real story is what happened after he did. 2 teenagers were told, in front of the judges and a national audience, that they needed to give more. They had every reason to be shaken. Instead, they went back out there. They finished. And they earned their place in the live shows. For Bruno Mars' family, it is another chapter in an extraordinary musical story. For Nyjah and Zyah, however, the next chapter has to belong to them. The cameras will be back. The audience will be watching. And this time, there will be nowhere to hide. The brothers have already learned the lesson Simon Cowell delivered in the most dramatic way possible: getting the opportunity is only the beginning. Now they have to own it. And if their comeback proved anything, it is that when the music stops, Nyjah Music and Zyah Rhythm know how to start again. Their journey on America's Got Talent is no longer just about making it past an audition. It is about discovering whether 2 young brothers from Oʻahu can turn family legacy, musical talent and hard-earned resilience into a moment that belongs entirely to them. For a family connected to Bruno Mars, the spotlight is nothing new. For Nyjah and Zyah, this is their chance to step into it.